Welcome one and all to the Stock Up Podcast YouTube channel. My name is Alex. A couple days ago, I built this blue-white control deck with Lurrus as a companion in Historic. I've been having a lot of fun playing Historic. You could go check that video out on the channel. I believe it's just called Blue-White Control Deck Guide with Lurrus. And yeah, we're going to be running the deck through the ladder a bit today. I have made a couple small changes, except not really. Road has come out on Arena, and there's not a huge reason that Exile matters in Historic. There's also not a huge reason that Planeswalkers matter in Historic, but I figured it's probably best to have a mix of both. And in fact, I can imagine a Road maybe being better. I mean, there's like Tamiyo you would want to kill, and some other Planeswalkers people play. Path to Exile is better against Phoenix. So those are the two big differences. So I'm going to try a couple of Roads. In fact, because of Phoenix is so popular, I might just do 3-path, one a Road now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, this is the deck. Basically, win condition is Lurrus, Wan Shi Tong, and then creature lands. We're bringing back creature lands because we can't play with any of the Planeswalkers as win conditions because we're trying Lurrus out in Blue-White Control. So we're going to win with Colonnade and Restless Anchorage. I don't know which is better between these two, so I'm going to try to pay attention to the games, see which I think is better. I'm starting to lean towards maybe Colonnade might be better, but we will see. And then, yeah, you could get back Wan Shi Tong with Lurrus, of course, to win the game. So let's get to it. Okay, paired for our first match against Felipe Martins. And what do we got? Not a great hand, but this is sort of what you sign up for when you play a control deck. I've got my colors. I've got a sweeper. So swamp. Snow cover doesn't tend to mean anything. It's just there's really nothing that punishes it. So sometimes people play with snow cover lands because they're more fun. Reprieve was a nice pickup. We could slow them down a bit. Looks like they're red-black. That's interesting. Some kind of mid-range deck. I wonder if they have Magus of the Moon because they have so many swamps. Wouldn't be surprised. I think I'm going to play this Field of Ruin, and I might even use it on that Crossroads to get a Plains to try to protect myself from Magus a bit. Grab the prize. Okay, so this is must be some kind of Reanimator deck. Pretty happy to reprieve this because it costs him a card. Okay. Yeah, in our turn, we just pass here. We don't have any way to stop a reanimation, unfortunately. They have Necromancy. We can actually stop Necromancy, so when do I need to kill this? Yeah. So I could just wait, because leaves the battlefield, sacrifices it, and this is when it attacks. Alright, so that comes in, and then I can exile the Necromancy with March. Okay, dodged a bit of a bullet there. Hopefully they don't have another one. I'm going to play Island. Might as well make my Wan Shi Tong bigger, I think. So notably, they didn't have a 4th land last turn. So they're all spells in hand. And they have more reanimation. Okay, not much I can do about it. Just going to have to hope nothing too bad happens to us here. So they get to look from their deck. They hit another Wrath. It's not good for them, right? They get to Legendary Rule, but they don't get the extra benefit. Okay, so we take 7. And we're going to use a sweeper. I'm going to go ahead and Field to Ruin this. They might not play a ton of basics, but we will see. They do have a mountain. Tamiyo. Tamiyo's nice. So we could Wrath. Play Tamiyo. Play a tap land. So even though I'm a Lurrus companion, I'm not super focused on it, and I do have Rest in Peace in my main deck and sideboard. So that's something to look forward to for this matchup. So I could have played Lurrus into Tamiyo there for 7, but I think I'll just do Wan Shi Tong. Wan Shi Tong's getting pretty big. Arden, nice. Definitely be nice to find some counter spells or rest in peace. Okay, so I can do one shot for 5. So draw me 2 cards and leave me with a 6/6. And there's a counter spell, and there's a consult. Okay. This game's looking good now. Next turn, we could fire up the Colonnade if we wanted to present lethal. Kill my Wanchitong, huh? Cost them 2 life. If they were to have a reanimation, if I counter this and they were to have a reanimation, I could dress down the creature. So I think it's worth trying to win the game here. It's interesting that this is the removal spell they have. They have another one. Okay, another one's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I still have the Colonnade. So let's go consult. Take counterspell. Another consult. Prep. 3, 4, 5. So if I attack with Colonnade, I can only leave up one thing. Which at this point is probably unnecessarily risky. I could add Lurrus to my hand. They're on 4 lands though. How much time do I want to give them? 2 counter spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I'm going to pass the turn again. They're clearly not going to win through like 2 counter spells plus dress down. And so I could do a couple things here. Like I could field this. Get more information about how many basics are in their deck. Which I'm starting to think they have Magus. Because they just have so many swamps. 2 mountains too. Alright, let's go consult. And it's not terrible to take a land here. I'll take like land. Probably just another counter spell. Tamio doesn't do much. Ah, there we go. Wanchitong. This makes it easy because it's a threat with flash. So go ahead and do this for 4 and leave up counterspell. And that'll do it. Okay, so Reanimator. With potentially Magus to the Moon, I reckon. Oust is not really what I want. Verdict is not ideal. Dress Down's great. Rest in Peace is great. Runehail is not super great because like I can name Raphael, but they're getting a second thing with it. Wanchitong's a pretty nice threat. Force Negation's really good. Dispute and Snare don't sound great. I mean, I could keep Oust because it enters Magus. I could have 1 Sweeper too. That wouldn't be terrible, I don't think. Surely he'll have some creature in his deck, actually, where I probably don't want Fragment Reality, especially if they're sideboard. Although, yeah, I don't want to risk it. Like, what if I had to do it to an Arden? You'd get the Wrath. Oust. I mean, Oust works fine with Dress Down. It even puts it into his library and not to his graveyard for him to just reanimate again. That could be good. Oh, Spell Snare counters a lot of the cards he played, actually, including Death. So let's have a Spell Snare. Sure, go with that. Okay, game 2. And I will keep. Nothing too fancy, nothing too good. I would expect him to have a lot of discard spells. Oh, there's a Rest in Peace. Okay, so I'm going to play my Anchorage. Next turn, I'll use the Vista, probably. Just so I could at least have a basic island out. Grab the prize of Fatty. Okay, Rest in Peace looking good. Now it's just going to be a matter of beating Magus, whatever their sideboard plan is. Oh, I suppose we understand why he has Feed the Swarm, right, as his removal spell, because now he could use it to kill Rest in Peace, at least. There we go. Okay. It's a lot of swamps. So normally I'd want to keep this to go with my Brain Surge, but I am considering playing it just because of Magus. If I wait on the Tamio, I could do Tamio plus Brain Surge. Yeah, okay. I'm going to play the Vista. Dress Down actually is not an answer to Magus, funny enough, the way like Magic works, layers and whatnot. So 2 cards that don't share card type with land. We did at least get to exile the Ritali. Yidero, interesting. So this is his sideboard plan. Let me familiarize myself with this. So he cycles it, and if he cycled it 4 more times, then every time he cycles it, it just goes into play, and it's an 8/8 trample haste. Okay. Should be manageable. Go ahead and fetch here to get my island, and then I can play my Tameo and my land. And now we can flip Tameo if we want, or we can use our interaction. Sacrifices a creature. Yeah. I'll bite. So now to me is a Planeswalker. Pretty nice. Go ahead and plus it. And I will play Field of Ruin because I could shuffle away that Hallowed Fountain if I'd like. And we're looking pretty good. Planeswalker in play, plenty of interaction, some card drawing. Go ahead and Field of Ruin, shuffle that away. Get an island just in case. There's nothing really I'm looking for. I'm not even gonna bother brain surging. It's my graveyard. Another brain surge. I'll just plus and play another Tameo. And this Tameo can just sit and make clues. If I were to have to brain surge, I would just do it, and I would legend roll the Tameo, and that would be fine. I have enough card things going on that would be fine. Sure. Again, just have everything I want. A lot of card draw spells you would just cast anyways, like Consult, because you grab another card plus another card draw spell. But this one specifically puts cards from your hand back on top, so it's not quite as useful to just cast. And I'm going to go ahead and plus this because it means I basically win the game if I get to ultimate it. And there's Wrath, so why don't I dress down? We can oust it. I can let that get sacrificed, and then I can play my Wan-Chi Tong. Draw a card, have a 4/4. And then, yeah, once this happens, it's game over, pretty much, because you have no maximum hand size. Wow! You think we can win with all these? All right. Oust that sucker. Get a Rest in Peace in play. Yeah. All right. We'll see you for the second match. Okay, match number 2. The King in Yellow, huh? Let's see what we got. Definitely playing first. And definitely mulliganing a 1-land hand. Okay, so if this was a 7-heart card hand, I would mulligan. Clearly. It just doesn't have any blue mana. As a 6-card hand, I could put back a Cryptic. And I could play a turn 3 Tameo. Potentially a Verdict. Turn 4. Okay, I'm going to keep because mulling to 5 you mostly never... you're pretty unlikely to win. Especially with a deck like this. And this is also a Thoughtseize heavy format, so that makes it even more so that when you mulligan, you're in trouble. Elvish Warmaster. Okay, I don't mind just reprieving this. Try to cycle into an island, because unfortunately they actually don't have a basic in play for me to Field of Ruin. So I'll play this. And this has worked out pretty well, because I can cast Supreme Verdict and they're playing an Elves deck. Yeah, I'm not really likely to be able to flip Tameo, but I could go Tameo Oust. This guy, get a clue. Maybe oust again, get another clue. Or I could just Verdict now and do oust Tameo next turn. My inclination is that if I let him untap with this, he'll do so much that I won't be able to not use my Tameo. Or not use my Wrath. So I think I'm going to Wrath. Right, I can't Wrath. I have 2 colorless lands. What am I talking about? Alright, oust it is. I'm going to go oust Tameo, try to find another colored source. Funny, a lot of the time with Field Ruin in spots like this, one of the reasons it's okay to play 4s. You can just mana fix yourself. But my opponent's only put basic forests into play, and you can't target those. All right, Priest of Titania makes a lot of mana. So why don't I consult? I can only cast it for the 2 mana mode anyways. Get myself a land. And then oust the priest. And attack for a clue. I have not drawn an extra card here, so cracking this would not flip the Tamio. Another creature control enters. Plus some counters or treasures. Sure. Yeah. This verdict's going to be pretty good. I'm not going to be able to flip the Tamio, but that's okay. It will have made 2 clues. It's plenty. Take my 3. Draw a card into turn. Island is nice. And smack you for 0, opponent. And I suppose I could Cryptic next turn to get another clue, but no, I'm just going to Verdict. Not mess around. At some point we can use the Lurrus to get back the Tamio. What is this? Gets tap another untap creature to give it indestructible. I've seen that card in Standard. Oh, Wanshi Tong. You nasty, nasty owl. Okay. Come on over to Wanshi Tong's house. He is a big librarian, and you have stolen his books, and he's very upset. Naughty, naughty. Okay, so your guy's indestructible. All right. Attack for 6. Yep. I've got 8 mana. I'll go ahead and add Lurrus to my hand. And then I could play Tamio. I'll leave up a removal plus Cryptic. And then next turn we'll play Lurrus and get back Tamio. Archdruid is fine. So at this point, you know, I'm most likely going to win. Just got to make sure I don't lose to something I'm not expecting. So I got to hold Cryptic Command. And, you know, I just had a thought. I understand why they're playing Elves, because Glimpse of Nature just got released today with Strixhaven. So that's pretty cool. They're probably a Glimpse of Nature deck. That is a very powerful card, so we'll have to be careful overall this match. Go ahead and block there. And I will path this Tyvar. Greatest power, sure. So we'll path Tyvar. They can't save from that. And now the the elf won't get big enough to defeat the Wanshi Tong. Plus, yeah, there you go. They search their library. Naughty, very naughty. Trying to steal from the library again. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've got more than I need, right? I'll go ahead and path this fella too. And this game is just about wrapped up. Send in the owl. And then we'll go Lurrus. Cast Tamio. And sure, we'll leave up a road plus Cryptic. This is a combo piece, maybe? Land enters create a thing. If they have a thing, like when something artifact enters, go get a land. Certainly don't know of anything that would do that. Alright, there's no reason to send in the Anchorage, since Wanshi Tong will have this game over with by next turn. And we will go to sideboarding. So I don't suspect I need Rest in Peace. Reprieve was, you know, perfectly serviceable that game, and always usually serviceable, but it's not super good against people who have gonna have a lot of mana on a turn. Fragment Reality is fine for killing exactly 1-drops pretty much. A big payoff card if I really need to. So in this way, nothing's terrible. I definitely want Verdict and Wrath of the Skies, though, so we can cut Reprieve. And then Spell Snare looks pretty nice against their deck. But they probably have Cavern of Souls. So I don't know I want to go overboard in that regard. Like if they were just to draw a Cavern. Glimpse in Nature is basically the card I'm worried about the most. I almost am wondering if I should just have Force Negation in my deck. It might literally be their only non-creature spell, but it's also almost surely their best one. Could also have Divine Purge. With this, they could just replay all their stuff. So let's go with this. One interaction I'll be looking to pull off against them is Lurrus plus Dress Down. I think that ought to be a good combo to shut them down. Yeah. This hand's fine, you know. Nothing outstanding. Nykthos, okay. Elf, so they kept a 1-land hand. Interesting. Oust is pretty good against mana creatures because it takes them off the board when they're important, which is early, and then in a couple turns they draw them again, which isn't always ideal for them. Arc Druid, okay. So I could feel the rune Oust, but actually don't really want to shuffle away that elf. The risk if I pass the turn is they play a bunch of, like, they play multiple elves and then tap the Archdruid for something else. But I do have a Verdict in my hand. And if I Oust, I'm not doing much else with my turn. I could cast Consult for 1, I suppose. I think that's fine, actually. I will Oust. Keep them slowed down. Just keep hitting land drops myself. I've got enough backup card drawing. Okay, surely this is not an on-rate elf for historic, right? All right. Pass the turn. Maybe I got paired into, yeah, a little bit of a weaker opponent, or just, you know, an opponent that's lower on ladder because their deck's not as powerful. Yeah. I'm starting to think that. Mostly just because of this card. But I mean, whatever. They're presenting quite the board. We'll just do our best here, regardless. Brain Surge into turn. And then we can do Supreme Verdict plus Tamiyo. And then next turn I can flip the Tamiyo with the Brain Surge. Okay. They're either out of gas or they have a Collected Company. Which I suppose is more likely they have a Collected Company and they're deciding whether or not they want to cast it now or when I'm tapped out, or if they want to play around a sweeper. Okay. Do I want to flip the Tamiyo? Probably not. Patchwork Banner. Yeah. Okay. What's this going to get? Crater. Is there not a better way to search for Crater? Maybe not. Alright, let's go Brain Surge. Yeah. Flip the old Tamiyo. And yeah, I mean, smooth sailing from here. Kind of glacial blue-white here. Win with Restless Anchorage. Or until we find Wan Shi Tong, I guess realistically. Wan Shi Tong really can close things out quickly. Yeah. I'll block. Okay. Plus is fine. We'll with Tamiyo this game, realistically. Yep. And I suspect, you know, I'm gonna Wrath of the Skies for 3 here. My opponent might concede. We will see. No, they're fighters. More banner, sure. Okay. So yeah, Tamiyo Emblem essentially wins. Woohoo! I'm never gonna get tired of that. Alright, now we just gotta start sending over the win condition, which is the Anchorage. It takes a little longer to get going than the Colonnade, you know, but hey, it does its best. There we go, there's a one-she. Okay, yeah. Take that, Llanowar Elf. Take that. I think just a giant one-she would be faster than firing up the Colonnade. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 9. I think this might be the biggest one-shot I've ever made. 10-10. Kapow. A little bit overkill. Okay. Colonnade. Inco Ridge. 17. Good games. On to match 3. Hyozanman. Okay. Play first. Ooh. Tough hand. Definitely one of the consequences of building my mana base like this, where I can't get to blue on turn 2. That being said, I'm going first, so I'm just going to keep. I'm going to play my Colonnade turn 1 and my Tamiyo on turn 2. And hope I can draw some more land as the game goes on. Ooh, a Mother of Runes. Okay, change of plans. We're going to play Tamiyo and reality that Mother of Runes. Since if we don't do it now, Mother of Runes can just protect itself and any creatures they play. Sorin is interesting. So if they can do something to gain some more life, they can flip that. That should be okay. Attack. I could leave up, play the Verge so I could leave up the Brain Surge, but I'm just going to play this. I still leave up the Clue, and then next turn I can guarantee play Cryptic Command. What does this land do? Oh, so they're like a humans deck. Okay. This used to be a really strong modern deck. It'd be interesting to see if it's still good. So they can gain 3 if this resolves and attack me. And that would flip their Sorin. And then they could minus the Sorin to kill the Tamiyo. So yeah, definitely got to counter that. All right. Attack. And I could flip it, but I would rather leave up Cryptic, I think. And the nice thing about playing Brain Surge in your deck with Tamiyo is you could always flip it in response. Interesting. So this would also allow the Sorin to gain 3. So it's buffing it. So my options are pretty much to Dress Down or to Cryptic Bounce. And if I Dress Down, I could also crack a Clue, which is nice. But Cryptic Bounce slows them down quite a bit more. So let's go with that. Draw another Cryptic. Pretty sweet. And an island to boot. Okay. This is going pretty well. Get to flip their Howlback Alpha. What does this do? At the beginning of their end step, they create a 2/2. Okay. So I might want to play the Dress Down before the end step so they don't get that 2/2. I reckon that would be wise. When does this transform? If a player casts 2 or more. Okay. So if they cast another spell, this is going to flip back. Although, not if I Dress Down it. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll Brain Surge. Flip the Tamiyo. No particular need for recipes, certainly. And I think each werewolf gets +1/+1. Yeah, I think I'll let them go wide because I have the Tamiyo. So sure. You can have your wolf. Let the guy transform back. Plus Tamiyo. And then what I'll do is I'll play the Dress Down in my own end step. So it'll stick around for his turn this way. And then it should also stop this transformation. On his upkeep, it won't transform because none of his creatures will have abilities. So Hierarch won't tap for mana, etc. Okay, so they can only attack the Tamiyo for 1 because any creature that attacks me this turn gets -1 to their power. So that's nice. And then we will see what we can do with Cryptic. I will cast Cryptic no matter what so that this doesn't transform. On my upkeep. Looks like they're just passing. Okay, the reason not to Cryptic here would be because of Collected Company, but I think that's okay because I have another Cryptic to buy me some time if that's what they have. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce the Wolf. Okay. At this point, I'm just going to let it flip. I'm going to plus. And I'm going to get back Lurrus to my hand. Their creature will flip, but that's okay. Might even let Tamiyo take a hit here. Guide of Souls. For another creature control enters, gain a life, sure. Alright, well, I don't want them to flip the Sorin. So I'm going to try to prevent them from gaining more life. Sorin attacking will gain 1. Oh, interesting. Sarah Ascendant. I do want to stop that, I would say. Yeah. So I could do counter tap to preserve the loyalty on my Planeswalker and like make sure they don't gain more life. I think that's fine. Okay, we do sort of need a sweeper. But for now, again, we can play Lurrus. And we can I can dress down to my own end step again. Buy me some time. And I think in the meantime, I will get back. Well, if I get something back, they might be able to kill my Tamiyo. But I'll have a counterspell in my hand. No, I'm gonna preserve the Tamiyo, I think, over doing that. I will play an untapped land in case I draw something. But, yeah. Let's go to the end step and cast Dress Down. Okay, so now during their turn, the creatures don't have abilities. They can't attack for very much because I plus Tamiyo. They sort of do still have to send everybody a Tamiyo, though, because they can't let me ultimate it. I'll win. Okay, they're going to let me ultimate it. Alright, draw a card. Do they have a way to remove Tamiyo? They do not. Okay. Alright. Good job, Lurrus. You did good, bud. You did good. Sure, let's get a Colonnade into play. Turns out Tamiyo is a pretty good win condition after all, you know? It is the case that you do actually need things that close the game, kill your opponent. But that's what the Colonnade's for. Okay, sure. You can have all this. I'm going to consult. Find a One-Shi-Tong to finish the game. Or, not quite yet. That's fine. He's in there somewhere, the old librarian. Oh man, it's hard to select the card I want. There we go. Go ahead and nug this Cavern of Souls so I can counter the spells. And we'll wait around for One-Shi-Tong to show up. If he never does, then I guess I can use the Colonnade. Sorin, sure. Go ahead and path Sorin. And then there's One-Shi-Tong. Right on time. Hey, buddy. You hungry? Sarah, sure. So what? We'll do this for 7. Leave up counterspell. Okay. Give him the old oust. Oust. Ocho. Boy, Tamiyo sure wins big when she wins, huh? Mother of Runes. Mantis Rider. That's a blast from the past. Nice. I'm just casting things just to cast things at this point. Okay. 12, and then, yeah, next turn. Close it up. Soul Warden. So they're a Soul Warden humans deck. That's fun. Go with Path. So, yeah, after sideboard, just bring in all my creature removal, looks like. I wouldn't expect them to have any crazy juke. Like, I'm sure they have Collected Company in their deck, but I'm not really going to want to leave in ways to deal with that specifically, really. You can cut Rust in Peace. Again, they have 1 mana creatures, so I could plan on answering those with Fragment. Definitely want all 4 verdicts. They might have Thalia, which makes Wrath of the Skies quite a bit worse, but it's probably still worth it. Reprieve's better against them. In fact, maybe even better than Counterspell, because Reprieve works through Cavernous Souls. So sure, have one of those. And then Timely and Divine Purge are both pretty good, probably. Yeah. So probably want to fit those in there instead of the Counterspells. I do expect Wan Shi Tong to be good against them too, but 2's probably enough. So let's do it. Okay. Keep. Esper Sentinel. That's a magic card. Okay, so the goal when they play Esper Sentinel is to never let them draw a card, ideally. Now, I do have a bit of a predicament, but I'm still going to play Tamio. This only works with when you cast non-creature spells, you have to pay attacks. So I can play Tamio. Tamio can block, she's an 0/3. And I can circuit and clues. And I'm going to have to kind of take a turn off anyways of doing stuff. Do I want a clue or 2 life? Probably 2 life since I have the Purge in hand. The clue's going to go away anyways. Mayor, sure. Can't block. Alright. So now I have to pay 2 mana if I want to get around the tax. Which is doable, but not ideal. And if I do nothing, the Mayor flips. This is kind of a nice combo, honestly. So let's go ahead and oust. And it's probably just the Mayor. The Hierarch's obviously really annoying too, but if I don't do the Mayor, then they just won't cast something on their turn. So yeah, let's do the Mayor. Pay the 2. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to cast Purge soon, right? Oh, hello, kitty cat. Okay, Thalia. Yeah, she's a pain. Well, I'll tell you what, she's a pain. So I don't really want to path them. Wait, oh my gosh, I wasn't paying attention. Do they have basics in their deck from last game? I don't even know. I might do an upkeep path situation anyways, just to get rid of the Thalia and shuffle the Mayor. Or you know what I could do is just let them draw a card off the Sentinel next turn and do the Purge. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. So I kind of want to not attack with Tamio either, because it does prevent some damage and I'm going to Purge anyways. Okay, I'm going to Feel the Ruin. I kind of want to let them have the Mayor though, right? No. We'll Feel the Ruin. Get myself a Plains. And then next turn we will Divine Purge. Maybe I should have supposed to let them have the Mayor just because that means they're not drawing a land. Take the damage. They will get to draw a card. This would exile my artifact anyways, so no reason to attack with Tamio. But this will set them back a ton. Interestingly, I'm missing land drops too. Here's Thalia. Okay, well, kind of back to square one here. I could play the Tamio. I think I'll just Brain Surge and for a land drop, because I do really want to keep hitting lands here. All my cards are pretty useful. I don't particularly want to shuffle them away, so I don't think I will. Sure. Okay. So now I think I will... Do I want to shuffle that Brain Surge away? I don't think so. I'm going to play Tamio. And in my end step, I'm going to play Dress Down. So they can't use their Hierarch next turn. And then I could use the Brain Surge to flip Tamio. Go from there. Not too worried about being hit, because I have the Timely Reinforcements. Sentinel is back, sure. Oust. Oust is nice. So interestingly, this Divine Purge card makes it so they permanently gain this ability. So even if I tuck them, they're going to still be expensive again. That being said, I might still just go after the Thalia. Let's see. I think I will attack. And I will Brain Surge, and I'll pay my 1. Okay, and I don't need this other fetch or this other Tameo. So plus, shuffle this away. And then while this Esper Sentinel is turned off because it only works once per turn, I'm going to oust the Hierarch. Sorin, okay. Hopefully they can't flip that. Oh, they're flipping it. All right. Don't have my road. Simply have Path the Exile. What's this do? Throw deal to any target. Interesting. So I probably want to play Timely next turn. Could deal 4 to Tameo. Okay, I could attack it with Colonnade. Can I attack with Colonnade and play Timely? I could if I shocked, right? No, not quite. I can attack it next turn, though. So yeah, let's play Timely. Yeah. Pay the 1. Let's go ahead and path now while that's turned off. I think I'm okay pathing Thalia because it costs them 4 to put another Thalia into play. And I gotta work through those because they're so annoying. Okay, they do have 2 planes at least. So, Meddling Mage, interesting. Wonder what they'll name with that. Hopefully not Path. Where are my roads? Verdict. I mean, that makes sense. That's the card that kind of breaks this game open. Okay. So this can do 2, or you can create a food. Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to double block this. No big deal. Okay. So let's fire up the Colonnade. Attack the Sorin. Pass the turn. Mayor of Averbrook. Alright, I'm going to path now because otherwise the Sentinel is going to get bigger, and this way I can afford to pay. I still have 1 more Thalia to deal with. And if any point if I draw Spring Verdict, I'm going to be in good shape. Alright, so it cost me 7 to do Dress Down with Lurrus. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I could still path. And I'd have 1 blocker, and their creatures would be a little smaller. So, yeah, that's probably what I do. What would be my alternative? I could, like, path Thalia here. Pay the 2, pass, Cryptic. I think I like setting up Lurrus Dress Down. Let's go ahead and do that. Wait, the Dress Down costs 1 more. Silly. Okay, well. I didn't play it in my face. No. Well, that was silly. Alright. Do I lose the game because of my mistake? Not necessarily, because my creature has lifelink. Okay, obviously I meant to do that in my own phase. Surgical Dress Down. Fair. Little weird that you have surgical, but I get it. Okay, so that shuts that avenue off, unfortunately. Mantis Rider, okay. So if they attack with just these 2, I have to chump block. This is a mistake. So I block here. Go to 1. And I have Verdict. Alright, well, I got bailed out. I mean, it was about time I drew Verdict. Been through half my deck and I have 4 of them, but yeah. I will not pay the 2 because I want to leave a... Well, I have Path. Yeah, let's pay the 2. Path is safe. They only have this Sarah. Okay, close game. Definitely made it harder on myself, but that's how Magic works. So if they have something that could deal direct damage somehow, I don't know that they're in the right colors for that though, you know? 6/6 lifelink, sure. Crack this clue. Okay, and then once I've untapped with Cryptic, I should be safe here. Pass the turn. Okay. Path to Exile. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting having a road in Standard. In Modern, people are more likely, well, in Historic in this case, people are more likely to play lower curve decks, I would say. Oh, I didn't kill the Cavern of Souls. Ha. All right, what can I do about this? I can't gain life at instant speed. I could find my reprieve. Yeah, I forgot to kill the Cavern. Oopsie. Lucky me. Found my reprieve. Yeah, I needed to kill that Cavern. All right. Let's end that mistake. That's what I get for thinking the game's locked up. I just make another mistake. And we'll gain 6. Okay. Now it should be for sure locked up. Mother of Runes, you got it. Cavern of Souls, you menace. Okay, let's go with Consult. See if I can find a librarian. There he is. And sure, we'll take a Tamio. Go ahead in the road. Play Tamio, pass the turn, and the Wanshitong will flip the Tamio. Suppose if I have to play my Cryptic, it won't. Okay, sure. Happy enough to Cryptic this. Counter draw. Double Wanshi. Okay. I'll just get this down. Doesn't super matter the size. Just start hitting them. I'll wait to crack this clue until I can flip Tamio at this point. Pass a turn. And at this point, might just spend Cryptic. Looks like I'm spending it right here. Counter draw. Otherwise, they would just take it. I don't super think it's a good idea to board in Surgical in this matchup, but I mean, I guess I have Tamio and Lurrus. So, like, I see the rationale. Okay, what does this do? No, we can gain the life so that you'll flip. Sure. Sure. Go and fragment Soren. Get Sarah. Okay. Okay. And then we'll go attack with both. And flip Tamio before they can block. Mostly just looking to use Tamio as a way to regrowth a couple things is all. Okay, next turn we can probably start animating the lands and whatnot. Mayor, sure. You know, all this time I never knew Saris and it was a human. Not gonna lie. Get the Mayor. Go ahead and get back a counterspell just to cover my bases. Destroy the 1-drop. And sure, I suppose I don't really want to be mapping at this point, so I'll just send in the old Colonnade. 8. Have this game wrapped up shortly. Sure. 3/3 flyer. Nod number 1. If I do another one, I can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can leave up Cryptic still, so sure. Let's see what they draw. Cavern. Okay. And now, yeah. That's game. As I have lethal on the swing back. It's funny, this matchup's pretty nostalgic for me because, you know, this like colorful humans deck at one point was the best deck in Modern a long time ago, and I used to play blue-white control against it. That was pretty fun. And not that many cards have changed. Still have Cryptic and Verdict and Path and Colonnade. It's pretty funny. And they still have Mantis Rider, Dahlia, Meddling Mage, Cavern. And unfortunately, this might be a situation where my opponent has ghosted. Not super sportsmanlike, but hey. Maybe they were done. It looks like maybe they're still thinking about something. I'm not sure. Am I missing something? They have no moves here, right? Okay. Opponent finally passed the turn. So we will send in our creatures. And that'll be that. Okay. 4/4 Vigilance. Sarah Angel winning games for Blue-White Control in 2026. Who said Sarah Angel is unplayable? Got 3 of them right here. Good games. Okay. Do one more match here. First, Boca? Yep. Sound is fine. It's mostly just creature interaction, but most decks are creature decks in this format, so one of the reasons it's pretty fun. Spikefield Cave, okay. Ruby Medallion. Oh, interesting. Well, I spoke too soon, huh? Basically up against Ruby Storm, I suspect, here. And yeah, I don't... One of the problems is for this matchup is I have so much creature removal in game 1. So I'm going to be in a bit of trouble here. Interesting that they've only played these lands so far. I wonder what that's about. Dress Down, I think... I mean, to be honest, I'm not super familiar with these decks, but I think they play like a creature that helps them storm that I could potentially use Dress Down for since I don't have a counterspell. We'll see what they do. I mean, you know, they could just kill me. Currently, the plan is to end their turn, play Wanshi Tong, and then untap and use Field of Ruin to draw a card, and I'll still leave up my 2 mana. Fable, okay. That's a creature, you know. Go ahead and play my Wanshi. Stick with the plan here for now. Part of the problem with the Fable, of course, is they're going to get to filter their hand, which I guess is the big selling point for them. Let's go ahead and use Field of Ruin on their land. I'm not going to be super surprised if they don't have a basic, but we'll see. No basic, okay. I actually don't know why they're doing this. Obviously, there's some deck building reason where, like, it's probably part of their combo to have no lands in their deck. But yeah, I'm not sure what that is, to be honest with you. Just not that intimately aware of what's in Historic. I just started playing this format a couple weeks ago. And it's been a lot of fun, you know. You get to play with a lot of cool cards. It reminds me of old Modern, where, like, before it became a super popular PT format, and it was just sort of the Wild West, and you ran into all sorts of things. We'll say today I'm running into an even larger variety of things than I normally do, and that's probably because it's Strixhaven release day. People are probably drafting and playing Standard, but, you know, I couldn't help myself. Just wanted to play some Blue-White Lurrus Control after I built it. It just seems like it's been working out pretty good. You know, Lurrus just as a companion has been pretty nice, and the others don't actually add that much. So, all right, Glimpse Impossible. I don't really have interaction that's relevant here because the Reprieve just puts it back into their hand. Okay, here's a spot where I could do something, I think. May as well do something with the Reprieve. Because this way, at least, if they don't have a land... No, this means they can play this land. Alright. Well, sit back and relax, folks. We'll have to see what their combo is. They had a bunch of mana. Oh, it's just a Charbelcher deck. Well, that's so much less interesting than I would have suspected. Okay. Charbelcher it is. So, Rune to Halo is pretty nice. It does work against Charbelcher, right? Yeah, the Charbelcher deals the damage. So, Rune to Halo is nice. Rest in Peace doesn't look particularly good. I guess Path and Erode are my best removal because they don't have basics. Fragment Reality can hit the Ruby, so can March. Don't need sweepers. Spell Snare Force. Launchy Tongue is a threat. I guess, let's see, if I was them, I'd probably have Hexing Squelcher in my sideboard. I want to answer Squelcher. I guess probably just with Path and whatnot. I could have Wrath of the Skies. Doesn't sound too great, though. I wonder if Empty the Warrens is something right now. Probably not. Can I name a token? No. Tommy O can answer Empty the Warrens. I don't know if that's something that would have. Like maybe Grape Shot as like a backup thing. I'll have Oust. It's just like a backup way to answer some stuff. Okay, so game one, if I don't draw the right half of my deck, I'm just going to have trouble. But I should be a bit more set up here. It's not great. It's kind of slow. At least I have a point of interaction on turn 4, though. Whereas last game, I kind of had nothing. Okay, so interestingly, Field of Ruin is actually one of my better cards to draw because it just slows them down by so much. They have turn 2 Medallion again. That's not good for me. So they have to win this turn or I'll have Cryptic, and they're going for it. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. When they do cast the Charbelcher, I'll Brain Surge, try to hit Force. Only have 1 Force, though, so not super lucky. Runaway Steamkin. Whenever you cast a spell, put it to the counter, and when it has 3, you remove them to add 3. Okay. Sure. Storm Dragon. Nice. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm pretty cooked because I boarded out my Riddick. Well, this is interesting. It's like a new Storm piece. Set Empty the Worms. All right, good games. Yeah, I don't have a sweeper left in my deck, so I can't. Even if though I could Cryptic, I just can't win. Okay, another match here. MTG Arena player, huh? They've probably been on Arena a long time to have that name. Going second. Boy, this hand's rough. Playing 26 land, and we'll hope to draw 1, I suppose. Definitely a cost of like Vista, Field of Ruin. What are you gonna do? Vista for Plains is interesting. Courtyard, Juggernaut Peddler, sure. One of my cards becomes a Juggernaut. No fun. What shall it be? My counterspell. Okay. Cloud Fountain's a nice draw. There's nothing in particular I want to do with it yet, though. Oh, Esper is interesting. Didn't expect that. Relic Frog. Okay. So definitely going to want to kill that frog. I can either path it or march it. If I path it, I get to leave up Reprieve. So probably doing that. Reprieve would just be nice to cycle something. Does give them a land, but they don't seem like they'll use land terribly well. If I had to guess. I mean, we'll see. And then, at some point I'm going to be Field of Ruining and pathing them, so I'm going to have to get through their basics eventually. They've got Vista. I mean, they're playing a 3-color deck, so you'd think they wouldn't have too many basics, but they have Vista, so they probably have roughly 4 or something like that. Interesting that they're getting planes there. Just 2 planes at all in a deck with Psychic Frogs. A little interesting. Cling to Dust. Sure. Draw their card. Shock Pass Tameo. Sure, I'll play Tameo. I do sort of expect it to meet a removal spell, but, you know. Porcine Portent? Exalt target creature. You gain 1 life, and then it's an adventure. Huh. Interesting. Alright, I think I'll cycle the reprieve on this. Because I don't want to, if they just untap and play that, I obviously don't want to put it back in their hand for them to have the adventure mode again. Yeah. So, boy. I mean, it is a really grindy card. Fragment Reality, sure. Okay. I mean, so presumably they're probably set up pretty well to deal with creatures. Reason I need to, I'm just going to Brain Search. I don't really need to leave them more mana, I don't think. It's not like I can counter anything. No land in my top 4. Okay. I mean, that's not great. And then I have to discard a hand size. All right, well, obviously I should have left the Juggernaut in my hand to discard a hand size. But yeah, I'll discard Dress Down. So I guess here we're going to go for an Upkeep Field of Ruin to shuffle away those cards so I could potentially find some lands here. Yeah, that's just where I'm at. I suppose I could just cast Consult and look at 3 cards, and that way I would definitely have Path Exile available for this. So sure, I'll do that instead. Well, I could just get a Plains, right? Yeah, sure. Field of Ruin, we'll just get a Plains. Rather get an island, but that's okay. We could use Plains. This way, if I don't draw land, I can still remove the frog. Oh my gosh, a land. Imagine that. Okay. Pass turn. Let's go ahead and get this frog. So they're probably going to get an island, and then they're probably out of basics. Try to guess, but we'll see. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can find some land. Did indeed find some land. Okay. Put back some stuff. That's fine. Pass the turn. Felia. Sure. I think I'd rather erode that than counterspell it. Because I'm going to get to the point where counterspell's pretty good. So, yeah. Go with erode. Okay, they're out of basics. Peddler's getting me. Okay, and they're just going to play this to get some ham down. What's this one do? This creature... Okay, sure. I'm going to go ahead and cast Verdict. Leaving up Counterspell. I do have to be a little careful. Their deck's probably packed full removal, and I just have my 4 lands, my 2 Wanchis, and my Lurrus to win with. Cling to dust on that, sure. Okay. Relic, yep. Strike down. Okay, so they've got 4 cards, 3 cards, and they give in. All right. Fair enough. I mean, they just flooded really badly. Okay, weird game. So, not going to need Rest in Peace. Fragment Reality. Are they going to have 1 mana cards? What else is a card advantage? They have a lot of stuff that exiles. This is probably a Ketramos deck. I don't really expect Fragment Reality to be great against them. Although if they don't have 1-drops, I could exile their 2-drops with it, potentially. Like Frog. Wait, what if they have, like, Tameo? Yeah, I'm not going to risk it, I don't think. They have plenty of things for me to want to Spell Snare. And I definitely want my Wanchitong. Halo. Yeah. Fragment. I expect them to have Ketramos and maybe not as many Planeswalkers, so if I get the chance, I'll save Path Dispute is fine against Frog, I guess. Verdict, yeah. They're gonna have like discard reprieves. Verdict's not really gonna be a hammer, I don't think. Let's just stick with 3. Alright, let's try this. So this is actually like a decently popular deck. It's basically like the Esper Blink deck that exists in Modern, or at least similar to it. No Solitude, obviously. It's filled with Thoughtseize. It's like different. It's built differently because this format's different. But it's a pretty popular deck, and it's a pretty strong deck. So definitely got to respect it. Tell me it was a good draw. Yeah, let's go ahead and attack. Oh, that was a mistake, playing that land. Because if they had removed it, then I would have wanted to play tap land. Philia, okay. So that's probably the best card in their deck. It's kind of what their deck's built around. We'll see if they have a combo with it. Doesn't really look like it. At least not for this turn. Fragment, sure. And more Thoughtseize. Okay. I don't really want to put Lurrus in my hand because I don't have anything to get back anyways. I guess I don't want to give them a blue in case they're missing it. But if they were to like play a blue here, I would probably field them. Oh, they do get to draw a card here. Okay. Yeah, and there's their blue. All right, let's just field them. Get a plains. Hope I draw something. Land. All right. I definitely don't regret keeping my opening hand. Against a Thoughtseize deck, you want to keep most opening hands if they're like remotely reasonable, and this was a totally reasonable hand. I've just sort of gotten unlucky. I will continue to play because I could... my deck could surprise me. Their deck could, I could get lucky from here, maybe. But it's definitely going to take luck at this point to win. So let's see. They're drawing 2 cards a turn. And there's Riddler, which draws 2 blinks. Yeah, all right. That's enough. That's quite a bit of card advantage. Okay, so... I want to change anything, but I might want I don't know if they're going to have a 1-drop, but they might have like 1 because they're prepared for Fragment. Their deck's not well set up to cast a like Tamio. Verdict's not great against them. It's okay. Yeah, let's have the Fragment. I think it's worth a shot. Let's see if they're prepared or not for it. I don't know that Fragment's a super good card, but it seems like people like it over Path. In his deck, I would think Path would be better, but I don't know. Okay, so we get to go Colonnade into Hollowed Fountain to hold up Counterspell, which is nice. This is the sort of matchup that makes me wish I had more card advantage in my deck. And, like I just built my deck, so I don't know that it does have enough card advantage. It might not. There's Philia, so yeah, definitely a high priority to remove that. Peddler. I might let them Peddler me and then just march the Philia, or I could Counterspell, take 2, pass the turn. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just Counterspell. They don't see my hand this way. Oh, they have a Mystical Dispute. Huh. Interesting. Alright, well, I'll just path the Philia then. Obviously, that's not a good exchange for me, but giving them a land this early is not great. But they forced my hand with that dispute. And they take March, sure. Okay, well, I guess it's Juggernaut time. 5/3 must attack. Can't be blocked by walls. Ketchamos is here. And Riddler's here, too. That's unfortunate. Alright. Worst case scenario, pretty much. Go ahead and attack. They chomp, sure. And at this point, I will get Lurrus to my hand. See if we can do something with Lurrus dressed down. They're going with Peddler. All right. I don't really want another Juggernaut, so go with Dress Down. They can have more counter spells. I guess not. Not loving this matchup. It seems like they're definitely ahead. They just have so much like annoying stuff that's good against slower decks. Doesn't seem like they do very well against some of the faster decks in the format, but there's honestly not that many of them, so I kind of get it. Okay, so at this point, I might just attack with Colonnade. Like, he's going to chump this, so it'll put him to 5. And he doesn't have stuff in the exile zone yet, really, so Ketchmos isn't going to be on yet. So I think I'll just do this. Fragment. Sure. It's annoying because I can't play my Tomio. But that would have just killed the Tomio. So sure, now they get to play Riddler. Blocks Juggernaut pretty well. Oh, they're going to Fragment. I will have a 1/1 1-chi then. You will have a Riddler. Okay. Oh, Brain Surge is nice. Play my Tomio. I could Brain Surge now. Let's probably better do it end of turn though, right? Do I want to feel the rune? I would draw a card, but I wouldn't be able to cast my Brain Surge. So we'll just wait. Do the old block then Brain Surge. So Relic Ketchmos means he gets to draw a card every turn, which is definitely annoying. Oh, it also means like I could draw another card and turn Ketchmos. Yeah, that's annoying. Maybe I could draw a Path here. That'd be good. Didn't attack with Riddler. Yeah, let's see if I can draw a Path to exile. Well, they just have counter spells too. How do they ever beat other decks? Alright. Cryptic. So I could flip Tomio with Cryptic. But then what? That wouldn't leave me in a very good position. I don't know how I'm going to beat this Ketchmos, to be honest. I guess it probably starts with, like, Field of Ruin this. Just in terms of ways I can win from here. Draw a card. Another Cryptic. So I could, like, bounce something, draw. Tomio would flip. Yeah, I don't think that does anything. I'm just going to pass. And I'm going to attempt to tap draw their turn and hope they don't have more disputes, which honestly they're probably just going to. Peddler, sure. So we'll go counter spell and tap. Okay, so they draw a bunch of cards in response. Do they find a counter spell? Doing my best in a bad situation here. Yeah, mostly they can draw to their heart's content here. They keep going, draw more. Do they find a counter spell? Not like they just lose from their perspective if they don't, because this is only 6. They could discard their whole hand and draw again, right? But then they would only have 2 cards. All right, so surely by now they found some removal. We'll see what they do. More warpage, sure. Well, hang on. Now they're actually going to pay life. Can go down to 6. But presumably they're leaving up a removal. Okay. And if I were to go for it, I'd probably lose. So I don't super want to walk into that. I mean, they just saw like all their deck, right? They probably have 4 fragments in their deck. They've played 2. Yeah. Let's just attack. Get our clue and our attack in. And then end phase here, I will play my Dress Down. Shut off the abilities on their creatures for a turn. And then I still have to Cryptic just to live. But at least this way they can't draw more cards on their turn. Tap all, draw. In hindsight, I should have done this in their upkeep. No reason to have let them draw a card. Dress Down again. Yeah. Okay. I really don't think this is going to work. Like, maybe it would, you know? but just don't really want to risk it. So let's go with Dress Down Vista, I think. So let's go to attack. Yep. And then we'll go Dress Down. This makes it so the Ketchmoose is indestructible. And do I have another Plains in my deck? I do. I'm just going to fetch now, though. Because I think I want to get Island. And leave up Path. Verdict. Fragment on Dress Down. Interesting. Okay, so I'll Path Ketchmoose. It's just my only option. Would have liked to keep that Path. I forgot about the Fragment could do this, but they did have it, so I would have lost. So I'm glad I played this way. I might be getting back into this game. I just have to lose a Tamiya for my deck too. That's funny. So my last Tamiya. Got one more. Yeah. I'm surprised I've gotten this far, to be honest. Relic, sure. Riddler, sure. So Colony doesn't kill them. Tamiya. Sure, let's play Tamiya. Let's see. And let's pass the turn, actually. Okay, I could flip it with the Wanshitong. Man, that card's good. Yeah, there's just nothing I can do about it. So, and then there's Ketchmoose. Yeah. Yep. On all the cards over there. They might be down to just one removal spell. I mean, I don't know if they would play other removal on their deck. Maybe. I mean, I can't get through this Riddler without a removal on my own. Presumably Felia's going to attack, but I don't know what it's going to blink. It's attacking with both. Okay. Okay, but blinking the Riddler, sure. Alright, I'm going to play the Wanshi. I don't expect it to go particularly well, but I'll do what I can. Do what I can. Alright. Defeated the Felia. And now there's the Riddler. Although now they're at 1? How does this work? Your turn. Huh, so if I can manage to exile something even during their turn, I can win. Again, it's crazy to me I'm even still in this game, but... Okay, I think what I'll do is... consult. Because there's a number of things I could find. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So... Yeah, I could cast Consult and that as a last-ditch effort, because I'd want to find something where, like, I don't just animate Colonnade and then lose to removal spell pretty badly, but I can still use that as a last-ditch effort. Although if I hit 2 cards off Consult, that might put me in a better spot, but then I'm spending a lot of mana. Yeah. I think my best bet is to just play Consult. See what I find. Okay, Fragment. It's got to be the best thing, right? Alright. Fragment. And then let's go with Feel the Ruin. Because if I animate the colony attack and he has another Fragment, his 4th one, then okay, he does have Fragment. Sure, so now I just allow this to happen. And I'll not crack any clues or anything so I can play around Mystical Dispute. And we go to his upkeep. One or more cards are put into exile from graveyards. Yeah. And we see if this works. It does. Wow. I probably didn't play that game perfectly, but it's interesting that I even won at all. I wonder if they made any mistakes. Okay, well that ought to do it. I mean, that's I played a little extra there because I didn't feel like I was playing against super top tier decks or anything, which is understandable. Like I said, I'm recording this on the day that Strixhaven just came out. So it's, you know, it's expected that people are playing standard and draft and that sort of thing. In my one new card, but yeah, I would say I've been impressed with Lurrus. I've also liked the other decks. Like I said, the main draw to like Yorion is not actually Yorion. I think Lurrus is probably the best of the companion power level wise. The main draw to Yorion at this point is that it's better than Kahira, and you get to play with a wider variety of cards in your deck. Like you can play with the Wandering Emperor and Teferi if you want to. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Those sorts of things. But yeah, Wan Shi Tong has been really good. Colonnade's been good. I would say Colonnade overall is better than Anchorage, so I'm going to go ahead and make that change. That surprises me a little bit. I would have guessed that Anchorage would be better. And, you know, obviously in some spots it would be better, so maybe I'll still play I'll play one Anchorage because some of the times you'll draw 2 creature lands and then maybe having both is good. But I think overall having the Colonnade, because it's so bigger immediately, is better. If you need to immediately hit a Planeswalker or immediately hit your opponent for 4, I think that's mostly better. The map, yeah, you know, I'm just going to do Colonnade 4. I think it's overall better. Any other changes I'd make? I like the one a road. I think that's fine. I mean, Path to Exile is important. I don't know that I need more than... You could honestly... I could see the argument for just playing more, actually. Like this Fragment Reality should probably just be Path, yeah. Because at some point your opponent just runs out of basics and then it's just like your best removal spell. So you might just want to suck it up and just start pathing earlier than normal. March can hit a variety of permanents, so that's nice. You maybe don't need all 3 verdicts. One could live in the sideboard, probably. They're certainly good when they're good, though. Reprieve's been okay. Yeah. That's the changes I'm going to make for now. Oh, and I probably want another Force in the sideboard just to have more for like Storm and whatnot. Obviously, I lost pretty quickly to Storm there. I didn't draw very well against them. I probably could have mulliganed better if I'm being honest. Yeah, Divine Purge, just not a good card, I don't think. We'll just cut that. That's fine. We'll rely on Wrath of Skies and Timely and whatnot. So, pretty happy with this deck. And give it a try, folks. Stick around for more Strixhaven decks coming soon, okay? Bye-bye.